Okay, so continuing, since I have suggested that if you're going to draw or create a background not using or outside Harmony, and I am suggesting use Photoshop, I will give you a short intro or an essentials intro in Photoshop. Things that you would need to know if you're going to start with a background in Photoshop. Well, for example, if you are to go to File and New, because we're going to start a new file here, there, you go here at the film and video sizes, because by default you will see there, yeah, the resolution that we're using for our file in Harmony. And they are the same. This is a standard size. It's an HDTV monitor size. So standard, so it's the same. What's in Harmony is also same size here. But as I have mentioned in our lecture, it is advisable to have a bigger background, right? So I intend to create a bigger background size. But then again, I will only limit it to this size because I am planning that the animation for the background is just a horizontal camera movement, meaning just a panning. That's the thing that I need or I intend to do. No? So it's advisable also that you plan the animation of your background before you even start the file so that you will be organized in creating it. So as I've said, I am planning a horizontal movement for my background, horizontal animation. So I will just double up the width, the dimension of or the width of my file for the background. So I'll go back again to Photoshop. So I went here to the file and new, and I have chosen film and video. So if I am to double the size of my width, so it's going to be 3840. So I can type in here 3840, still the same 72 dpi, and I'll press create, and there the scene is created. I can check. Sometimes the appearance of the scene can be um, stretched. You can check here in the view if something here is checked here in the pixel, or here if this is active, that means this will become distorted. All you need to do is just uncheck that if that is if that's the case with you. So far this is just fine, so I'm okay with this. Now moving around in Photoshop, let me just give you a guide, a simple guide on the essentials here. So let me go to the window first, and I will turn off this timeline. I will turn it off. Sorry. Here, I'll close it as a group. There. So now I have my full scene. The important areas that you will usually access here are these three: the layers, the tools, and then the tools options. Or if you don't want to keep on going up here in the tools options, I suggest you bring out this, the tools preset. The tools preset allows you to save your tools settings, but more on that later. Okay, so let me just fill this with a simple effect. I'll just fill it with a simple effect, just for an example. Okay, so we have that. Now here in Photoshop, some shortcuts for zooming in, control spacebar and then click. and then it gets zoomed. So it is more likely to be a manual zoom. Okay, for zooming out, I can press Control spacebar, and then I will add an Alt, so it zooms out. Then I will hold the spacebar, and I have the pan. Okay, if you are looking for a full screen mode, all you need to do is press F. Pressing F will give you different types of full screen mode, such as the full window, full gray, and the black. Okay, so I can press spacebar during a full screen. There. Still, I can do a zoom. Spacebar click and drag is the pan. Next is the layers. The layers are here. This is its button. You can press F7 to turn it on and off. Okay, so the layers is the one that made Photoshop famous because it allows us to have it gives the users more flexibility in editing and creating at least almost a three-dimensional look, because you can change the background of a flat picture that was taken. That's the advantage of the layers. So I'll add a new layer here. So now you have your layers. The buttons are there. Let me undo that. Control Z to undo. The next thing, after you have accessed the layer, so you have similarities with Harmony. The layers are vertically managed, so they are stacked on top of each other. There. Here, you also have what you will usually access are the colors. You can press letter D. This will reset to black and white. And what's on top, that means the active color, that's the foreground, and what's under is the background color. Okay, you can press X to switch the two of them. That means the colors will switch. The foreground becomes the background color, the background becomes the foreground color. So just press X. I press letter D for it to become black and white. But if I want to change the color, I can just directly click on it, and the color picker will show. In the color picker, I can choose a color and press OK, and there it is. Right? I can press X, change that white. Alright? So that is your color swatches. And when you click, it brings out the color pickers. Next, since we already know we have layers, we have colors, now it's time for the tools, the brushes.